There's already been one trial. I want to bring in former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Neama Rahmani. Neama, good to see you. I've been covering this trial pretty closely for ABC News Live. The defense setting the groundwork for an alternate theory of what happened to John O'Keefe. That's what they did in the first trial, which is, how we wound up with a hung jury and mistrial. What stood out to you about this sergeant's testimony, outside of the juicy text messages we'll get to?
Bill, Sergeant Yuri Buchanek was facing a grueling cross-examination, and it's not surprising. We knew that the previous trial really hung in large part because of Trooper Michael Proctor, who was an unmitigated disaster, one of the worst law enforcement witnesses I've ever seen. So now you have his sergeant, his supervisor, who's coming in, and he introduced Proctor's texts, which were unprofessional and offensive. And he's describing the investigation, which was conducted by his subordinate, Proctor. The problem, Phil, is that he really defended the investigation. He said it was conducted with honor and integrity. I understand the prosecution, they don't want to go after their own witnesses, but I think these are the types of things that you do if you're the Commonwealth and you lose the jurors' trust. I think they should have leaned into some of the mistakes that were made. Buchanek was disciplined, and audit revealed that the investigation was essentially botched. And I think that would have been a better approach for the Commonwealth as opposed to what they did, because it did really open the door to this cross-examination by the defense.
Right. I think even a casual observer who doesn't know much about investigations would understand that things went awry here. The defense is saying that there was a specific reason for it. Buchanan spent over an hour reading text messages, not just by Proctor, but between Reed and Brian Higgins. This was intense, and it was important for the defense. Higgins is an ATF agent who Reed began sending flirtatious text messages with, and if you believe the text messages, they actually kissed, just weeks before O'Keefe's death. What's the end game here for prosecutors? Are they sort of hanging their hat on someone else did it, just like they did in the first trial?
So, Phil, I think you're right. I think this evidence cuts both ways. The prosecution introduced this evidence first to get ahead of it, but also to present a picture of a very jealous Karen Reed, right? Someone who was upset because John O'Keefe had cheated on her, and someone who wanted revenge, first by flirting with ATF agent Higgins. Of course, the defense is arguing the opposite, that Higgins is the culprit. He's the responsible party. He wanted to be with Reed because Reed ended up ghosting him, and she stopped these flirtatious texts, and Higgins was upset about it. So certainly it does play into the defense's theory that there are other people who wanted John O'Keefe dead, and whether it's someone who was in the Alpert's home, or in this case, ATF agent Higgins, he had a reason to want O'Keefe dead.
Yeah, and that's why so many people around the country and around the world who love true crime are watching this, because it really is a whodunit, and we haven't answered that question yet. Neama Rahmani, always good to talk to you. Thank you. Coming up here on ABC News Live, it is May, and for a lot of